Hey everyone, welcome. So today we're diving into a question that I think a lot of us on any kind of spiritual path have asked ourselves. How do you really tell the difference between a sign from the universe and your own obsession? We're going to look at what some ancient Indian wisdom has to say about it.
You know that feeling, right? You keep seeing the same number over and over, or you hear the exact same song lyric 3 times in one day, and you think, whoa, is that a message for me? It's so easy to get caught up in those moments. But the big question is it genuine guidance, or is it just our mind playing tricks on us?
So how do we find some clarity here? Well, it turns out Indian spiritual traditions offer a really powerful framework for this. They teach that yes, signs are totally real, but, and this is a huge but, we have to be super wary of something called attachment. That's when our own desires and fears start to cloud our judgment, and we end up seeing only what we want to see.
To really get to the heart of this, there are 2 key Sanskrit words we need to understand: nimitta and raga. Honestly, once you grasp these 2 concepts, the whole thing starts to click into place. They are pretty much the key to unlocking the difference between genuine spiritual insight and, just fooling ourselves. Okay, so let's start with nimitta. These are the real deal, the genuine signs. Picture this. You're just out for a walk, not thinking about anything in particular, and this beautiful feather just gently floats down and lands right at your feet. You weren't looking for it, you didn't ask for it, it just appeared. That's a nimitta. It's something that is received, not chased after. And then, on the flip side, you've got raga. This is the obsession, and its root is always attachment to a specific outcome. Now, I think this description is so powerful. Fear wearing a spiritual mask. Raga basically hijacks our spiritual search and turns it into this desperate hunt for control. And it's all driven by the fear that we won't get what we want.
And listen, this isn't some new age idea. This is timeless wisdom. Thousands of years ago, the Bhagavad Gita laid out this exact chain reaction. Just think about it in your own life. How often does a small desire, maybe for a certain job or for someone to text you back, grow into this rigid expectation? And what happens when that expectation isn't met? It hurts. That's the power of raga at work. The great Indian epics are just filled with characters wrestling with this exact struggle. And these stories aren't just ancient tales. They're like these profound psychological case studies that can teach us a ton about ourselves. Let's kick things off with the story of Arjuna.
So you have Arjuna, right on the brink of this monumental battle, and he's seen all sorts of omens. But what does he do? He doesn't start obsessing over them, trying to decode every little thing. He acknowledges them, and then he turns to his mentor, Krishna, and basically surrenders his confusion. And that's the key takeaway here. A true sign doesn't create more confusion. It actually clarifies your path and increases your sense of responsibility.
Now, for a really stark contrast, look at the Ramayana. You've got Ram and you've got Ravan. Both of them got signs, but their reactions couldn't be more different. Ram accepted them calmly, which helped him stay aligned with his path and move forward with peace. Ravan, on the other hand, interpreted every single sign through the lens of his own desire and ego. It led him to drown in obsession and create suffering for everyone. It's a pretty powerful question to ask. Which one of those paths do you find yourself on more often?
Okay, these epic stories are powerful, but how do we actually use this wisdom in our day-to-day lives? Well, this next part is a practical checklist to help you figure out what's what in your own experience.
So let's break this down. A true sign, an nimitta, tends to pop up out of the blue. And the feeling it leaves you with? It's calm, it's clear. It doesn't demand that you do something right now. But obsession, or raga, is a totally different animal. It's needy. It's constantly looking for more proof, more confirmation. It creates anxiety. And here's a big one. It tends to feed the ego, making you feel like you're special, like you're the chosen one.
So we've learned how to spot the difference between nimitta and raga, but there's actually one more layer to this whole thing. Indian spirituality points to an ultimate sign, a final answer that can kind of quiet all our questions for good.
Just think about that for a second. All that noise, that frantic searching for meaning, that desperate need for an answer, that's not the voice of the universe.
The universe doesn't shout. The soul whispers. Real guidance, the stuff that really matters, it comes from the quietest part of you. It's that inner voice that doesn't need proof, doesn't need validation. It just needs your quiet attention.
And that loud, frantic feeling, the panic, the constant need for reassurance, that's the voice of the ego. That's the part of us that's terrified of being wrong, of being lost, of not being enough.
And this right here is the heart of it all. The spiritual journey isn't really about becoming a better interpreter of signs. It's about cultivating inner stillness. That deep, profound peace isn't just the goal, it's the ultimate sign itself. It's the proof that you're on the right track.
So maybe the crucial question we should be asking isn't what are the signs, but rather where do you find your stillness? The next time you feel yourself desperately searching for an answer out there, try turning your attention inward instead. The answer you're looking for is probably right there in that quiet space inside you. All you have to do is listen. Thank you for joining me.